What's the easiest $100 you've ever made in your life? This scrawny kid named Georgie slipped a $100 bill into my hand during lunch and told me it was mine if I beat up Carson Block. I almost spit out my chocolate milk. Carson was the biggest 8th grader anyone had ever seen. He looked like he spent time in prison and was pitching, not catching G, if you know what I mean. The kid was 6 feet tall with arms thicker than my legs. Meanwhile, Georgie was maybe 90 pounds soaking wet with these skinny arms that looked like twigs. His left arm was in a homemade sling made from an old t-shirt. I stared at the money thinking this had to be some kind of joke. Nobody in their right mind would pay someone to fight Carson. The kid had put 3 7th graders in the nurse's office just this month. I'm pretty sure the security guards were scared of him, but Georgie's eyes were dead serious and kind of desperate. Why me? I asked. Because you're the only one who stands a chance. You knocked out that 9th grader last year who was messing with your sister. That was different though. That kid had been picking on my little sister for weeks. This felt random and weird. Plus $100 was more money than I'd ever seen a middle schooler carry around. Georgie must have noticed my confusion because he leaned in closer. Please, I've been saving up for months. Nobody else will do it. Something about the way he said it made me pause. This wasn't about showing off or some stupid dare. Georgie looked scared but determined. I pocketed the money and told him to meet me after school to explain what was really going on. We sat on the bleachers by the empty football field. Georgie kept glancing around like he was worried someone would see us talking. Up close, I could see bruises on his neck that looked a few days old. His homemade sling was because he couldn't afford a real doctor. Carson and his dad moved in with us 2 months ago, Georgie finally said. His dad is dating my mom. The story came out in pieces. Carson's dad was a mean drunk who'd charmed Georgie's mom at first. They moved in way too fast and everything changed. The man would scream at Georgie's mom over tiny things like dinner being 5 minutes late. Georgie heard slapping sounds through the walls at night. His mom would have bruises she'd try to cover with makeup. Last week I saw Carson hit her too, right in the kitchen. She dropped a plate and he just backhanded her like it was nothing. Georgie had tried to step in. That's how his arm got messed up. Carson had grabbed him and twisted until his arm snapped like spaghetti. They told his mom he fell off his skateboard. She believed it because what else could she do? They were too poor for the emergency room, and his mom was scared of making Carson's dad angry. I've been saving every penny from mowing lawns and collecting cans. I figured if Carson got hurt bad enough, they'd have to leave. His dad can't afford medical bills either. I handed the money back to Georgie. Keep it. I'll do this for free. His eyes got wide and he started to argue, but I was already planning. Carson was strong, but he was also cocky. He'd never expect someone to actually come at him with a weapon. The next day at lunch, I grabbed a metal spork from the cafeteria line. It wasn't much, but the pointed edges could do damage if I aimed right. I found Carson by his locker between classes when the hallway was crowded. He was alone for once. I didn't give him time to react. I jumped on his back and went straight for his eyes with the spork. He screamed and tried to throw me off, but I held on tight. Kids started yelling and phones came out to record. Carson's